Jay Tegeler was married to my dad's cousin Valerie, but I always called him my uncle. I always saw him in that light. You know, he was a big man, big personality, had this larger-than-life aura about him. He was a brilliant singer-songwriter, moved to Nashville in the late 80s, early 90s, signed a record deal, toured, put out an album, you know, did the whole thing. Garnered a good bit of success doing that. Time went by, life happened, you know, he moved back to Victoria, raised a family, ended up becoming the musical director at Parkway Baptist Church. You know, he was a man of faith through and through and leaned into that more later in life, but it was always a huge part of who he was as a person. Sadly, on August 20th, 2019, Jay passed away. So growing up, Jay was such an integral part of these, you know, family picking circles that we had that were a huge part of my musical influence and why I ended up pursuing music as a career. And when he passed away, his wife Valerie contacted me and asked me if I wanted to go through any of his old song lyrics, which of course I obliged. I drove down to Victoria and was thumbing through some pages of stuff he had, and there were 3 particular lines of this one song that I thought were really cool, and those were, "In a time without a season, there is rhyme without a reason, when the wheel on the ship stops spinning." So I kind of sat on those for a little while and ended up using those lines as the foundation for which I started this song, which was sort of my honor to his legacy. So the neat thing about the tune is that he kind of posthumously wrote or started this song about himself, which is what makes the song even more special and meaningful to me. So back in 2019, we were on the road, headed to Lubbock to play a show. I was on the road with Shane Smith and the Saints, and for those that don't know, our bus caught fire and burned to the ground, and I was pretty lucky. I actually didn't lose a ton of stuff, but this guitar right here, it's an Eastman T386. It was my #1 road guitar. Obviously didn't quite make it, and I had recently used it in a session, and the outro solo of Tegeler's Ballad, which is the very last thing that you hear on my album, is the last thing that I ever recorded on this guitar. So just you know, so many levels of this song and this story have some really cool, you know, just kind of universal happenings where things just aligned, and you know, it's just something that it's hard to explain how that particular recording session, you know, what it meant to me, and how this guitar sort of died its death recording the solo for Jay's tune.